Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are tuning in. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Such Sweet Thunder meditation program. Today I'm going to be guiding a meditation designed to allow us to bring a sense of mindfulness or expanded awareness, if you will, to the present moment. So we'll be really focusing on the sounds of the present moment. And right now it's raining here in Thailand, so it's a beautiful kind of light rain sound. I wonder if that's being picked up here over the speakers. I hope you can hear it. It's lovely sound to meditate to. So we'll be listening to the sounds of the present moment and the quality of stillness within the aural field, this silent space. We'll be bringing in the visual field, so meditating with the eyes open. And then we come back through the body, and then finally through the breath. Now, I did a guided meditation on the visual field last week on Thursday. And so that was the more traditional method, where we start with the breath, go through the body, to the sounds of the present moment, and then taking in the visual field. That's the traditional mindfulness practice. Now, I take that traditional practice and offer it in a slightly different way, starting from the external experience of the present moment and then coming back to the internal. And this is so because oftentimes anchoring awareness, if you will, into the present moment with the breath and the body can sometimes be inaccessible to people, particularly if they're carrying trauma in the body or carrying some heavy and emotional material. Coming into the present moment through the body first can sometimes bring us into direct contact with that challenging material. And when that happens, present moment awareness can often become inaccessible. So starting here with the external and coming internal. Now that's generally accessible for most people. So in a way that's kind of a more user-friendly meditation approach, is to start from the external fields and coming internally like that. It's just a little unfamiliar because it's not the traditional way meditation has been brought up through Asia and over the rest of the world. So lots of benefits meditating with the eyes open. I did a longer talk on that last week. I'll put the link to that talk at the end of this video at the comment section. So if you'd like to check out the talk that I offered on the visual field, you don't need to have seen that to do this meditation, but it can be helpful to go back in your own time and catch up by listening to that talk or watching that talk. Finding out why we meditate with the eyes open. And then I also give some really helpful tips, helpful pointers that allow the visual field to be much more accessible. Now, this can be a challenging meditation, I'm not going to lie. This can take some time and some practice. And the comments that I received from the last meditation that I did, most of the comments that I received was, wow, that was really quite challenging. And it can be so, particularly if you've never meditated with your eyes open before. It just takes some practice, some getting used to, and just to know that, and to go into this practice with an open mind, an open heart, kind of with that exploring attitude. You know, you're going into a new territory here, and just kind of exploring what that might feel like. You might feel like closing your eyes again. Maybe you open your eyes into the visual field. You might feel like you want to close them again. That's actually quite normal. So you can experiment with that. What does it feel like with my eyes closed? What does it feel like with my eyes open? And kind of comparing the two. And with some practice, you're likely to find that when you meditate with your eyes open, your awareness is much wider. It's much more expansive. because the visual field is actually quite large. It's huge. There's so much information coming to us in each second through our eyes. So that's one of the reasons why it's quite challenging. It's that we're trying to hold all of that information and hold all of the sounds and the body and the breath all at the same time as one experience. But also one of the great benefits is we get to inhabit this much larger sense of awareness. The reason why that's so beneficial is, well, firstly, it feels good to have this large expanse of awareness. It actually feels very empowering. But also when discomforts arise, whether it's emotional discomfort or physical discomfort, those discomforts actually seem quite smaller than they used to because our awareness is quite a bit larger. So as we allow our awareness to get more expansive, larger, more encompassing, the discomforts that used to occupy most of our awareness, if not all of our awareness, now that it occupies a much smaller tract of real estate in our awareness land a lot, if you will. So that's one of the great benefits of meditating with the eyes open. Another great benefit is that it makes the gap or the bridge from meditation to everyday life much smaller, right? Because, well, hopefully when we're in our everyday life experience, most of the time our eyes are open. So meditating with the eyes open allows us to bring the skills that we're cultivating in meditation back to our everyday life experience in a much more effortless fashion. And I often get the question, well, meditation's going great, but I'm still having all of these difficulties in my life. Why can't I bring these skills that I'm learning out into my day-to-day workplace, my day-to-day experiences? Why does that seem so distant? Well, meditating with the eyes open can allow that distance to grow much shorter. And so again, we start to be able to cultivate these skills of present moment awareness in meditation with the eyes open, and then when we're in our day-to-day experience, those skills are more readily available. Okay, so I think I've talked enough about that. So we'll start with the sounds here today. Again, starting external. We'll go from sounds and the silence of the aural field, the sound and the silence. Both the sound and the silence combined makes the experience of hearing like that. There's always this backdrop of silent space, even if you're in rush hour in Times Square. There's always this field of empty silence that's always there. So in this practice today, I'll bring our attention to the sound and the silence. Then we'll open our eyes if our eyes are closed, or if your eyes are open, that's fine. We'll just bring our awareness and attention to the visual field. And we do that by simply recognizing, I like to think of it as a dazzling display of shadow, color, light, and space. Even if you're meditating in front of a plain white wall, which is what we used to do in the Zen monastery where I trained. We used to all line up and sit against a white wall. Even if that's your visual field, if you're really mindful and in the present moment with that, it's actually amazing how dazzling, how detailed things can become in the visual field. As one of my teachers liked to say, the mundane becomes the sublime with mindfulness. I really love that expression. So we bring our awareness to the visual field, recognizing the display of shadow, color, light, and space. Now there's always a quality of emptiness in the visual field, otherwise the objects wouldn't be there. If you were sitting in a field of pure solid material, it's really not possible unless you're buried in cement or underground or something. So there's always this quality of emptiness within the visual field. We simply overlook it most of the time because our eyes are focusing on different objects. It's very much the same in the aural field. Our ears are focusing, or our awareness is focusing on the sound. And because of that, we lose the experience of silence within the aural field. So it's the same in the visual field. Then we'll come back through the body, doing a body scan. We'll start from the feet this time and go to the top of the head. And as we go through the body, we'll be labeling the body pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, noting the feeling tones that are arising in the body. Really great benefit to noting feeling tones there. And then coming back through the breath, we'll rest for maybe 4 or 5 minutes in more or less silence at the end of the meditation. Even in that silent space, I like to drop little phrases in to try to keep everyone's mind relatively peaceful, relatively calm, because at that point you'll notice the mind will want to start to wander. So that's my way of helping you with that. I like to think of that silent area at the end of the meditation, or towards the end of the meditation, as an opportunity to dance with the thinking mind. And it is a dance. So have that lightheartedness about it, that it's a dance or a song or a play. So if you find you get distracted, don't berate yourself. Say, okay, I'm thinking, let those thoughts go, return back to the present moment. And you can actually congratulate yourself for recognizing the distraction and returning. See, this way we step outside of the habit of negative reinforcement. If we get distracted, we recognize we're distracted, we label that thinking, and we return back to the present moment. If we then berate ourselves or say, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not good at this, or this is too hard, then you're putting that action, you're lacing that with a negative charge emotionally. So the mind remembers that negative feeling, and so then naturally, if you do too much of that, the mind will start to wander and not want to return because it feels negative upon the return. So always returning with a positive charge. So thinking, return back to the present moment. Yes, I made it back. Great, congratulations. You're back in the present moment. So having that positive reinforcement allows the mind to feel good each time you return back from distraction. So that can be really, really helpful. Okay, I really can ramble on. So I'm just going to ring the bell here. I'll guide us into this meditation practice. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you. So allowing the body, mind, and heart to rest. Just coming into this present moment experience. And I'm going to ring the sound of the bell. Rest your awareness on the sound of the bell. Allow the decay of the bell to guide your awareness into silence. And as the mind rests in the silence of the present moment, you might also notice the sounds. You don't need to focus on any one sound in particular, but notice the entire field of sounds. Notice how the sounds seem to cascade through the silence of the present moment. And I'll ring the sound of the bell again. Rest your thinking mind on the decay of the bell. Allow the fading bell to guide your awareness into silence. And while resting in the silence of this present moment, noticing also the sounds, simply noticing the relationship between the sounds of the present moment and the field of silent space. And if you can, hear the sounds free from their origin, free from the object from which they arise. Simply hearing the sounds as sounds themselves. And if at any time during the meditation you become distracted by thoughts, labeling those thoughts with the word thinking will help the thoughts go, and you can gently return back to the experience of sight and sound and just rest. And if you can, listen to the sounds equally, not focusing on any one sound. You might notice there's a rhythm within the sounds themselves. Notice how each pitch, each tone finds its perfect place within the field of hearing. And while resting there with the silence and sound of the present moment, allowing awareness to expand to include the visual field, and if your eyes are closed, just gently allowing the eyes to open, allowing the gaze to rest, not focusing on any particular object. And simply allowing the visual field to arise and meet your awareness. If your eyes do begin to focus on a particular shape or object, that's normal. Each time you notice that happening, allow the gaze to rest back and return to experiencing the entire visual field, the dazzling display of shadow, color, and light. And in addition to the shadow, color, and light of the visual field, paying close attention to the quality of empty space within the visual field. The empty space which naturally exists between yourself and any objects, or between the objects themselves. And so we'll rest right there for a few moments, maintaining awareness on the sounds and silence of the present moment, shadow, color, light, and space of the visual field. If you become distracted by thoughts, simply labeling those thoughts with the word thinking will help the thoughts go. You can return back to the actual visceral experience of the present moment, resting with the sounds and silence, shadow, color, light, and space, and just rest. And now, while resting in this present moment experience, sound and silence, shadow, color, light, and space, bring attention and awareness to the sensations of feet against the mat or the floor, inviting the muscles in the feet to rest, relax, and grow soft. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tone arising throughout the feet. Allowing awareness to expand through the lower legs, inviting the calf muscles to relax and grow soft. The muscles over the shins can rest and unwind. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tone arising throughout the calves and shins. Allowing awareness to expand again through the knees, inviting the muscles in the knees to rest completely. Resting attention at the front of the knees and the back of the knees of both legs at the same time. And as you inhale and exhale, allow awareness to expand through the upper back of the legs, inviting the back of the legs to grow soft, rest, and relax. Noting pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant feeling tones arising throughout the back of the legs. Allowing awareness to expand again into the seat, noticing the weight of the body against the cushion or chair, mat or floor, inviting the muscles underneath those sensations to rest, noting pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant feeling tones as a result of the weight of the body against the seat, awareness expands through the seat and into the waist at the back of the body. Breathing in and breathing out, allowing awareness to expand again to include the quadriceps and thighs of the upper leg, inviting the muscles in the quadriceps to grow soft and relax. The thighs can unwind and rest completely. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tones arising throughout the upper legs. As awareness expands the upper legs and into the waist at the front of the body. And breathing in and breathing out, just rest, maintaining awareness on the sounds and silence of the present moment. Shadow, color, light, and space of the visual field. Sensations arising throughout the feet, the ankles, the calves and the shins of the lower legs. Sensations arising through the knees, the back of the legs and the seat, the quadriceps and thighs, while maintaining awareness on all of that, all at the same time. Bring attention to the waist at the back of the body. And breathing in and breathing out, allowing awareness to expand through the lower back, inviting the muscles in the lower back to grow soft and relax. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tones arising throughout the lower back. And allowing awareness to expand into the middle of the back. Perhaps noticing sensations of clothing against the middle of the back. Inviting the muscles underneath those sensations to rest completely. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tones arising throughout the middle of the back. Allowing awareness to expand into the upper back, inviting the muscles in the upper back to relax, grow soft, and rest. Noting pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant feeling tones arising throughout the upper back. Awareness expanding through the upper back and into the shoulders. Letting any tension, emotion, or stress that's held in the shoulder muscles go. Noting pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant feeling tones arising throughout the shoulders. And breathing in and breathing out, just rest, bringing attention to the waist at the front of the body. And as you inhale and exhale, allow awareness to expand through the abdomen, letting any emotion, stress, or tension that's held in the abdomen go. Inviting the muscles in the abdomen to relax and unwind. Noting pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant feeling tones arising throughout the abdomen. As awareness expands through the abdomen and into the chest, inviting the muscles in the chest to grow soft and unwind. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tones arising throughout the chest. as awareness expands through the chest and into the shoulders. Perhaps noticing the sensations of clothing resting against the top of the shoulders. And as you inhale and exhale, allow awareness to expand through the upper arms, inviting the biceps and triceps of the arms to relax and grow soft. As awareness expands through the upper arms and into the elbows, allowing the muscles in the elbows to rest completely. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tones arising throughout the upper arms and elbows. Awareness expanding through the elbows and into the forearms, inviting the muscles in the forearms to relax and rest. Noting pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant feeling tones arising throughout the forearms. As awareness expands through the forearms and into the wrists and the hands, the palms of the hands and the back of the hands, inviting the muscles in the hands to relax, rest, and grow soft. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tones arising throughout the hands and into the thumbs, to the fingers and the fingertips. And breathing in and breathing out, just rest, maintaining open, spacious awareness on the silence and sound of the present moment, shadow, color, light, and space of the visual field, sensations arising throughout the feet and the ankles, the calves and the shins of the lower legs, sensations arising throughout the knees, the back of the legs and the quadriceps and thighs of the upper legs, noticing sensations arising throughout the seat, the entire back from the lower back to the shoulders, sensations arising throughout the abdomen and the chest, and the arms from the shoulders to the fingertips, while maintaining awareness on all of that, all at the same time. Bring attention to the shoulders. And again, you might notice the shoulders rising and falling with each breath. And as you inhale and exhale, allow awareness to expand through the back of the neck, inviting the muscles in the back of the neck to relax and grow soft. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tones arising throughout the back of the neck. Awareness expanding through the sides of the neck, inviting the muscles in the sides of the neck to rest completely. And expanding again into the back of the head, the entire back of the head, including behind both ears. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tone arising throughout the back of the head. And allowing awareness to expand into the ears, both ears at the same time, noting pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant feeling tones arising throughout the ears. And allowing awareness to expand through the cheeks of the face, inviting the muscles in the face to grow soft and rest. Noting pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant feeling tones arising throughout the cheeks of the face. And allowing awareness to include the lips, the nose, the eyes and the forehead. Noticing any sensation arising from the top of the head. Noting pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling tones arising from the crown of the head. And so we'll rest right there just for a few moments, maintaining open, spacious awareness on the sounds and silence of the aural field, shadow, color, light, and space of the visual field, and sensations arising throughout the body from the bottoms of the feet to the top of the head. Now, you might notice awareness wanting to focus or collapse down on a particular sensation or sound or sight. That's actually quite normal. If you notice that happening, just allow awareness to then expand out from what you're focused on to include all of the sounds, the silence, all of the objects, shapes, shadows, and colors of the visual field, and all of the sensations arising throughout the body. It's all one experience of the present moment as it unfolds right now. And just rest. Each time you recognize you're distracted by thought, labeling those distractions thinking, allowing the thoughts to go and returning back to the present moment. And now, while resting in this present moment, sound and silence, shadow, color, light, and space, sensations arising throughout the body, bringing attention to the breath as it enters and leaves the nose, noticing the breath as it touches the back of the throat. You might simply notice the temperature changing from the inhalation to the exhalation, from cooler to warmer perhaps, at the nose and at the back of the throat. Noticing the rib cage expanding and contracting with each breath. You might notice sensations of clothing moving to adjust with the rising and falling of the chest and the abdomen as you inhale and exhale. Noticing the back moving out as you breathe in as you breathe out. Noticing the shoulders rising and falling with each breath. And so we'll rest here with this complete sensory experience of the present moment. Silence and sound, shadow, color, light, and space, sensations arising throughout the body, and the breathing process. and just rest. And thoughts may come and thoughts may go. That's okay. That's normal. Labeling the thoughts thinking, letting them go. Returning back to the visceral, sensory experience of the present moment. Sound and silence, empty space and the objects within, sensations of body and breath, and just rest. And if your awareness begins to focus or collapse down on a particular sound or sight or sensation, just allow awareness to then expand out from what you're focused on to include all of the sensations of breath and body, silence and sound, shadow, color, light, and space, and just rest. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed that guided meditation offering where we're bringing mindfulness to the aural field, the sense of hearing, the sense of sight, the visual field, back through the breath and the body. That's really the complete sensory experience of the present moment. The next stage of this practice, Such Sweet Thunder, this practice which I designed based on 2 different Tibetan practices, we open our awareness to our experience of emotion and feelings. So each stage we add more and more sensory experience to the present moment. So now going to the internal field, feelings and emotions and so forth like that. Now, before I get to that, which I will start next week on Monday, on Thursday, I'm going to offer a question and answer session. I've got several questions coming in, but always room for more. So if you feel like you want to ask a question, if you have something you want to or would like for me to address or talk about, send it over in the comments, or you can private message me through Facebook or Instagram. Happy to get those, happy to help in any way that I possibly can. So I think that's all I want to say. Here in Thailand, we're relatively COVID-free, fortunately, but I know most of the world is not. And so I want you to know that I'm thinking about all of you, and the reason why I'm still doing these episodes is as a way of helping. Meditation can help with trauma, can help with stress, can help with depression, loneliness, any sort of mental anguish like that. Meditation is tremendously helpful to alleviate that. I know from my own personal experience, and I know because I teach at a recovery center here in Thailand, and so I work with a lot of people who have such challenges, and I've seen the results firsthand through that as well. So here I am, my humble offering as a way of helping. Also would just like to throw out a piece of advice. Most of my audience is probably already doing this, but please wear your masks. Please practice your social distancing. Please wash your hands. I know that somehow in America this has become politicized. That's quite unfortunate. Lives are at stake. I'm not here making a political statement. I am now making a human plea. Please, 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 for the sake of all well-being, wear your masks, practice your social distancing, stay home when you can. We need to eradicate this virus from the human race. So take it seriously, please. It's not a political statement, it's a human statement. Okay, that's my soapbox. I'll be back on Thursday, Thursday Thai time, Thursday morning, also Thursday in the Philippines for my friends listening over there. And this will be Wednesday evening in the States. I guess it's Thursday afternoon in Australia, New Zealand, and so forth. Okay.